Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stu Webb. We're on StuWebb.com, and it is December the 26th, 2017. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. We got great news here. Tom Hennigan's on with me. Glenn Kennedy's on, helping making sure we got good recordings. With that said, Tom, give it to us. What's the latest?
Well, I can report today that in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Nevada, criminal action for full punitive damages concerning September 11th Black Op attack on America. This is the Honorable Judge Jim Hardesty. Memorandum for formal prosecution for Black Op attack includes indicted former illegal year 2000 occupant George W. Bushcroft, George Herbert Walker Bush, Richard Cheney, John Brennan, Jan Ashcroft, Robert Mueller, Barack Obama, John McCain, Paul Wolkowitz, Richard Pearl, Peter Monk, Condoleezza Rice, George Soros, John Skull and Bones Kerry, Brent Scowcroft, Z. Brent Brzezinski, that's Mika's father, and then last but not least, Hillary Roddenhurst Clinton. All have been indicted for capital high treason concerning the 9/11 Black Op attack on the United States. Now, I wonder,
Tom, if I may, that's Joe Scarborough on MSNBC in the morning, Brzezinski's daughter, that little New World Order witch.
That's what she is. Father. New World Order witch, a.k.a. bitch. And I can report George Soros, according to Glenn, had suffered a massive heart attack, given that he has been told that he's been indicted for high treason. Now, Peter Monk is a key player here, too. He was the intermediary. He's a Hungarian Jew, tied to Andrei Stas, tied to the Hungarian intelligence operation out of Hungary that was eventually tied to the coup d'etat in the Ukraine. Peter Monk was a Canadian businessman. He was one of the intermediaries to the State of Israel, which helped fund the Saudi intelligence patsy and individuals on American soil who were scripted as to be alleged hijackers, when in truth they were nothing of the sort. This is Peter Monk, Canadian businessman out of Toronto. And people have to remember that on the day of 9/11, there was a stand-down order, a red-blue Canadian war games, that was being run by Dick Cheney to basically masquerade and disguise the fact that we were going to be hit with this Black Op attack. The real aircraft that were allegedly hijacked were all taken to Nova Scotia, where the passengers were assassinated. Nova Scotia. Canada. Oh, Canada. Are you listening? Canada, just as in the assassination of President Kennedy, was used to a large degree as the cover in the script for what became the 9/11 Black Op attack on the United States. We can also report that
I'm in agreement with you on the Canadian thing, Tom. I'm in agreement with you on the Canadian thing because of what we put out the past, that memorandum by former O&I Naval SEAL, I believe he was. It showed that Canadian connection. Now that was right after 9/11. You and I put that out. Remember that?
That's right.
The match is hot. Yeah. So I give you credit, Tom. You came up with something hot at that time. I give you credit. Now go ahead.
Well, I can only take, I'm not here to get medals of honor. I'm here to try to get this country back to where it should be. But you got George Tenet has also been indicted. John Brennan, the little Nazi's been indicted. They've all been indicted. Okay, and then people got to, and we will post the actual indictments on the internet with the story. And again, Peter Monk was the key operator in the financial arrangements with the State of Israel. The dancing Israelis are all tied to Peter Monk. Peter Monk, M-U-N-K. Monk is punk. So that's the news we have on that front. That is very important news, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'm asking anybody that sees Peter Monk, put a bullet in his fucking head. Put a bullet in his fucking Mossad's fucking bastard's head. You see Peter Monk, grab his ass and bring him to justice, or either that or put a bullet in his fucking head. That's my attitude towards him.
Hillary's also been indicted on uranium one in Nevada also. She obviously this, and of course the whole night is Barrett Gold, Harry Reid, the whole nest of filth. Okay, and people got to remember that all these congressmen and senators have been paid off for years to keep their mouth shut about this, because the arrangement was made. You leave Junior Fraud alone, we'll make Hillary. We'll put Hillary in the White House. We'll create a deep state plutocracy. Bush and Clinton, Clinton and Bush, CIA. Now we also know that President Trump has signed an executive order declaring that we've already reported to people that were under military law. That executive order is frozen. All the Clinton Bush financial assets, including the financial assets of a lot of the co-conspirators in the U.S. Congress, etc. Okay? This is being done as we talk. And again, you can also report, and I sent you this, that the whole North Korean thing is tied to none other than Uranium One and the Iranian deal when Barack Obama's electoral fraud, who also has been delegitimized along with Junior Fraud by the U.S. military tribunals, that that cash currency, those Swiss francs, and those euro currency notes were all used to send to Iran to create a cash flow that eventually allowed rogue CIA tied to John Brennan to give North Korea nuclear capability. The ICBMs and all the other things you reported, how did they get that? Through the Uranium One deal. Through the Uranium One deal tied to Hillary Rodham, Hilda Beast, CIA, mentally ill lesbian Clinton. Period. No questions. No questions. We've also sent you that. And, we've got, you know, and again, all this stuff you're watching on TV, these California wildfires have all been set by the deep state coming out of Area 51 and Area 52, tied to none other than Crooked Hillary, Daddy Bush, and Traitor 44. We're still trying to figure out who Traitor 44 is, but we believe it's once again the guy who just suffered a massive heart attack, the criminal pedophile Nazi Jew George Soros himself. Who else is involved in the transfer of the North Korean, the nuclear capability of North Korea? Governor Bill Richardson, former governor of New Mexico. And you remember him, Stu, he was the ambassador, he was sent to North Korea many times by Bill Clinton. He's also tied to Angel Fire, which is once again tied to the old Mena, Arkansas, Bush Clinton Bush narcotic operation. Am I right or wrong?
That's true. That's true, folks. And I have the documentation to prove that Mena, Arkansas was transferred to Angel Fire Resort, which is down in New Mexico, Taos, New Mexico, airstrip. Actually built a huge runway down there to land C-130s on. And the drugs come in there, narcotics still going on. Jeb Bush, a whole gang, hits there and it goes to Center, Colorado, or Cessna. Center, Colorado, just to the north. It goes to a place, an airstrip there they have near the sand dunes, transported the whole bit. I know about this stuff. I know heavily about the drug operations in the United States, still going on today, which needs to be shut down. I welcome the Attorney General to have a talk with me and let's shut the shit down. But you're correct about Angel Fire Resort. And it's listed as a Dallas, Texas limited partnership on that Angel Fire Resort. Go ahead, Tom.
By the way, I'm filling a few more dots on that Uranium One deal. This guy Bundy turned into a big time person of interest, and they've connected the dots to basically a lot of this. Where is I had it right in front of me here. We've got transfer of U.S. property out of Oregon, tied to some of these ranches, and here the deal allowed the delivery of uranium run from Iran to North Korea. The Trader 44, uranium run it came from the Hamden Ranch in Oregon. It led to the arrest of the Bundys in Nevada and the murder of Loy Finnicum, F-I-N-N-I-C-U-M. Both of these.
By the way, the Bundy trial just went sour, and they threw the thing out of court. Mistrial. You're correct. It just happened.
greater force. So basically they're using these Oregon ranches to send nuclear material to North Korea and Iran. For money, naturally. And of course, the whole North Korea thing actually goes back to Bill Clinton, Daddy Bush, Donald Reagan, the whole bunch, and Young Bial. And of course, all this was covered up in the 90s by this piece of shit, Kenneth Starr, which is one of the biggest jokes and cover-up operations in history. And then they turn
that fraudster needs a rope around his neck. He needs a rope around his neck for wasting the taxpayers' money and doing a spin doctor game, a blowjob in the White House to Bill Clinton instead of Iran-Contra. All the documentation on Iran-Contra was all covered up. Lawrence Walsh, the independent prosecutor, had Daddy Bush indicted before he left office in December. He had everybody indicted. You cannot give presidential pardons to Ollie North, John Poindexter, Admiral John Poindexter, Colonel Ollie North, and all the others when you are a partner to the crimes that you committed. So Ollie, get fucked. You're getting ready to go to prison, pal. Leave Fox News. He belongs with a bullet in his fucking head for high treason and sedition. He's a punk.
Murdoch.
Go down martinrawl.com. Get his book, The Conspirators. Always lit up like a Christmas tree in there. Him and General Secord. And then who took over the Mena, Arkansas operation after that was over? Larry Nichols and John Singlob, General John Singlob, the Carter fired. Whose airplane, a 707 or 727, caught fire, one of the engines, landing in Baja, Mexico, where Ted Gunderson was selling resort property before his death to Patriots. It never happened. $1,000 down, you'll have a condo down here in Baja. The DEA confiscated the airplane because the engine caught on fire. And General John Singlob buys his airplane back from the DEA for 10 cents on the dollar or 5 cents on the dollar. It's ridiculous. So you can haul more drugs.
That's right. And you talk about Fox News, you're talking about the Fox News satellites, which were enabled directly by BICET, okay, by the NSA, John Ellis, who was working for Fox News at the time, to hack the year 2000 presidential election at 7:58 Central Standard Time and 35 seconds, election night 2000, in which the states of not only Florida was called, but Gore's home state of Tennessee, West Virginia, Missouri, and New Hampshire were hacked and stolen and transferred the Gore votes out of those states into California and New York. That's how Gore won the popular vote and allegedly lost the electoral vote, which is total bullshit. The election was not that close. Gore won over 4 million popular votes and 324 electoral votes. And NORAD has done the audit. It's proven. It's not even a question anymore. Bush has been delegitimized by the military tribunals, as has Obama fraud. He has been delegitimized by the military tribunals. He was born in
proving the election. He was born in Kenya and proving that the 2000 election was stolen by Bush fraud, which means both of these occupants occupied the White House illegally, folks, which is a form of treason and sedition.
Absolutely. And, of course, now the President of the United States has the opportunity to fire every one of these crooked judges that were appointed by Obama fraud and junior fraud, because every judge appointed by these illegitimate occupants is illegitimate themselves. Nice country we live in. But this is all coming out now. Thanks to President Trump draining the swamp. This is what this means, folks. Draining the swamp and setting the record straight so this kind of shit never happens again. 100 years from now.
Well, let me tell you. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
No. By the way, just survived assassination too. I'm looking for the email on that, but when the Oklahoma City bombing is now under investigation too, the guy that apparently a whistleblower has testified in front of the military grand jury tribunals that the Oklahoma bombing was a CIA black op, and that the plan to bomb the Oklahoma City federal building and create Timothy McVeigh as the patsy was pre-planned, And as you well know, Stu, you were a personal friend of a great American patriot, Ellis Johnson. He told you that Timothy McVeigh had nothing to do with it, was actually released at one time after the bombing. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know whether he was actually released, but he went out the back door, yes. When his execution time came, he had sent paperwork. Here's what the deal was. McVeigh and oh God, memory here because of concussion. The one that's in jail right now. Nichols. McVeigh and you had
Terry Nichols.
Terry Lynn Nichols and his brother-in-law, which was John Doe number 2, was involved. And Nichols, Larry Nichols Nichols worked for CMAG, Civilian Material Assistance Group, which tied directly to Ollie North, the guy that had the gun shop. This memory. It's a concussion, folks. Sometimes it takes 9-10 months to get your memory back. This is the fourth one in like 7 years. Anyway, the point is, the gun shop owner. It wasn't his real name. They testified in court that, oh yeah, they robbed my gun shop and shit. Judge Richard Mates said, this guy is lying, basically. The guy, the Civilian Materials Assistance Group, the guy that had the gun shop, is hauling drugs, folks, to Pier 66 in Miami, where Texaco Oil Company that Millman owned, Leonard Millman, the pier, where Ollie North brings a submarine in, and Jeb Bush brings his boats in and unloads the cocaine from Colombia. This guy, the Civilian Materials Assistance Group, the one that had the gun shop, was also bringing his yacht in from Colombia, full of cocaine all the time, unloading. It was all a steady thing when it came to Oklahoma City. Now, Terry Lynn Nichols was told by Judge Richard Mates, an honest judge in Denver, Colorado, retired now, who said, when you decide to speak and you decide to tell who was all involved, he says, we will consider reducing your time. Until that, you will spend the rest of your life in prison. Now, Terry Lynn Nichols, his son-in-law, John Doe number 2, Jose Padilla, was arrested for 911, folks. He was involved in Oklahoma City. He was involved in 911 both. Same face, same character, same different name. Jose Padilla is in jail for 911. He was involved in the Oklahoma City bombing. There was a layer in there of Mossad. Matter of fact, they tried to kill an attorney named David Parker with poisoning at the time. There were people that revealed things to me. There were people, Tom, that were on top of this. We had Bill McCoy, former Pentagon IG, that chased Chichi-Quan Terry for killing Kennedy to the Canadian border. That'll grab your attention. Oh, Bill, I'm arrested for being involved in killing Kennedy. He says, man, let me tell you, he says, this is way above your head. He says, if you arrest me, they'll kill you and your entire family in the next 24 hours. So Bill backed up. He says, I know where this punk is. I know where to get him. Oh, bet. Now, Bill was one of the famous Iran-Contra investigators. He worked with everybody. Leo Wanta, Stu Webb, Gene Chip Tatum, Terry Reid in his book Compromise, Clinton Bush and the CIA. He got half his book information from Bill McCoy. I spent the night at Bill's house in Washington or in Fairfax, Virginia. Bill McCoy had the guy that wrote, ABC reporter that was killed over the octopus. He was going to call it the octopus, the book. He was down the street, staying in a hotel from Bill. He'd been in Bill's house that evening. He took a box of documents down there to make copies. He had a portable copy machine and the whole bit. Bill had tons of information. And the military tribunal needs Bill McCoy's information. I can supply that. Every document he had in his files, I have access to. I don't have it here. By God, the grand jury needs it.
Well, you talk about
Lieutenant Strasmeyer, he found the BDF, German connection. You mentioned it, that Becker cell. BDF. Yes.
Manchester, Southside, Oklahoma City, and to 9/11. You just connected the dots too on Jose Padilla. There you go.
Lieutenant Strassmeyer. Right. Lieutenant Strassmeyer, the BDF, was involved in the Oklahoma City bombing. The Israeli Mossad, I can't think of the name right offhand, he was involved in the Oklahoma City bombing. They had stooges. This is how deep they went. I'm trying to think of my memory for some reason this morning. It was a little rough probably because I was up super late last night. But there was one that investigated for the United States government, was investigating for the United States government, folks. The Oklahoma City bombing. He was a spin doctor. He was an attorney. The whole bit. He himself was involved in the Oklahoma City bombing. He himself, and I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, go ahead, Tom. They did 911. They did Oklahoma City. They all need to be hung for what they've done.
Well, Kenneth Starr, of course, deserves the firing squad. There's no doubt. Along with all his stooges who were all Bush Justice Department appointees who were sleepers and cleaners. And as far as Larry Nichols is concerned, I just got one message, Larry, wherever you're at. Molly Hancock over there in Chattanooga, Tennessee, she's 88 years old. She's challenging you to a duel. So when you get out of the hospital, give her a call. We'll see what happens. That being said, I did want to follow up too on, the Clinton Foundation thing is all about weapons deals. We've got a list now: Algeria, Australia, Kuwait, Morocco, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, UK, United Kingdom. Tony Blair is the bagman. Millions and millions of dollars was shipped into the Clinton Foundation based on what? Weapons deals, ladies and gentlemen, to make wars all over the Middle East using your taxpayers' money for the benefit of people like Nazi Jew Benjamin Netanyahu. Nazi Jew Benjamin Netanyahu. So this is again, 1.8 billion went to Qatar. 1.8 billion in weapons deals. And guess who got commissions on that? None other than the Clinton Foundation. These two pieces of money trash from, yeah. Can you believe this shit? And Nazi.
Oh, I believe it. Now listen, for the listeners, I stuck some things up yesterday. Two of them were cyber terrorist attacks. The other one was nuclear material missing from Rocky Flats. Stay tuned, folks. More to come. Go take a look at the posting. Look at the declassified information about stolen nuclear material from a hospital on the East Coast, etc. Darlene Novinger, former FBI operative, gave me that information years ago. Take a look. It's been declassified. There's the documents. Go take a look. Israel, stolen nuclear material from the United States of America, plus Rocky Flats, and I explained where it went. Cranberry juice trucks to Apex Aviation in St. Louis, Israeli missile operation to Israel. Who was involved? Leonard Millman, Gunther Russbacher. Go look at the video, folks. Look at the video. Read who Gunther was. Look at the documentation. I'm going to put something else up there about it. Okay? Today, it will be up there. Fighter jets, Apache helicopters, M1 tanks, all shipped out of St. Louis, Missouri. Bull Moose Cannon made in Granite City, Illinois. And there's a sealed document ordered by a judge to be sealed. There was a cover-up, Meister. And I'll have that up today. I had hell trying to get this up last night. They were fighting me at every turn. But this weapon thing stolen off of U.S. shells consistently. Now, Jerry Henderson died. He owned Grumman Aerospace Company, made A-10 tank busters. He shipped about 20 of them to Iran and Iraq in 1987. He was Otis Johnson's partner. Look at on my website, Rip Otis Johnson, Secret Underground House, Las Vegas. That was Jerry Henderson. He owned Avon. But he died, he had $3.5 trillion in a Swiss bank in gold called the Dawson Bank. He had two partners. One was Otis. The other was an Israeli colonel that I met in Las Vegas. He was either dead or retired, definitely retired. They murdered him after he found out his bill of ladings were false. Harry shipped these A-10s to Iraq and Iran. And what happens? He finds out it's all fake. They murdered him, Daddy Bush. Then Daddy Bush's New York attorneys move in and take his entire estate of $3.5 trillion. His wife was left with $20 million. $20 million, folks. Married. And she's dead a year later of a stroke. Probably stonard. I just want to throw that out there.
I also want to report, we got a lot of news to report today, that the Secret Service had a drill a couple of days ago on the White House lawn to prevent an attack on the White House, a terrorist attack on the White House itself, which was in response to intelligence received by President Trump that the CIA, John Brennan, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Daddy Bush were planning an assassination attempt on President Trump involving alleged scripted Islamic terrorists who would bomb and firebomb the White House. Okay? And this was being plotted through the United Arab Emirates, the Gulf States, UAE, Crown Prince Deputy Supreme Commander of UAE Armed Forces, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. I can send you this email too. He was part of the Persian Gulf Sheiks that gave $100 million. Listen to this. $100 million to the Clinton Foundation in exchange for the $1.8 billion arms deal to the UAE. So basically what the Clintons turned the Clinton Foundation into was a piggy bank and a whorehouse for kickbacks on arms deals. And who is blowing the whistle on him? He's a whistleblower now. It's the former CIA acting director, Michael Morell, is now singing like a canary. This all goes back to the Gray Zone Project. CIA, arms deals in the Middle East, wars all over the Middle East. And who's the bag lady for all this along with Hillary? None other than our other favorite seventh degree witch, grandmother. We know who grandmother is. That's Barbara Bush, right, Stu? The seventh degree witch.
Yes. And let me tell you a story about Barbara Bush. People listen to this. This is Barbara Bush, a satanic lesbian. She kidnapped a woman in Las Vegas. I'm sitting down there with Brian Quigg, my good friend that identified John Doe number 2 for his death, who was digging in Charles Keating's trash cans in 1990, who supplied me information in the Keating case that PI's Don West came and saw me. The little rock law firm that sued him over the junk bomb daisy chain and American, ACC, Keating, and Lincoln Savings, and the missing money. You'll see timelines on my website, junk bond daisy chain. Other things that I wasn't supposed to have, but I had it. Now, Brian, across the hall from Charles Keating was General John Singoff and Walter Bush Securities. And it's in Al Martin's book, The Conspirators, which I helped get published in 1990 or 2000, 2001. They found, God, here's my memory again. Jesus Christ. Guys, what you were saying. Go ahead, Tom. My memory. This concussion.
I know you're doing your best, and the Holy Spirit has to be with us all right now because we're exposing this evil on all fronts today. But remember, Barbara Bush, aka grandmother.
Oh yeah. Let me finish since I got it in my brain. I sat with a reporter that had a TV station, cable access TV, gorgeous female, been married to an attorney, divorced. I sat with a guy who had been shot in the head by the Israeli Mossad for identifying with Brian Quigg the drug operations of Daddy Bush at that airport south of Phoenix, between Phoenix and Tucson, private airport. Daddy Bush runs it. It's part of Iran-Contra. It's where Terry Reid was flying in there picking up computers and Soviet Union was getting them. I'm sitting there with that reporter and she told me about this woman. She had been down at the courthouse digging on some stuff and actually digging in files. You know, they let her in there. She sees this thing filed in county court down there. against Barbara Bush, unidentified other subjects, etc., and supposedly Secret Service agents for her kidnapping. The woman's going, what the hell? So she grabs this thing, makes a copy of it. She calls her up, ends up talking with her. Found out that which Barbara Bush loves Phoenix, Arizona, where they got a house, the Biltmore Estate, the Biltmore Hotel, where Millman had one, and a whole bunch of other criminals, Brownstein and a bunch of them. She finds out this woman had been bleeding. They did a lie detector test on her. The whole bit. She said Barbara Bush saw her in public and came up and approached her at a restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona. Asked her name. She told her, politely and all. She goes home. Barbara Bush is knocking her door 5-10 minutes later. Two goons kidnap her, grab her, throw her in a limo, take her out to Sedona, Arizona, to some place out there where they got a fire pit going, big fire, and has satanic sex with her, along with two other fraudsters. I'm trying to think of it was Johnny Mathis and Barbara Bush, good buddies, raped this woman. They did it once. 2 days later, they do it again. Barbara Bush never was charged. Just a little sidekick story about Barbara Bush, satanic witch. Lesbo.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit if Daddy is 98 years old in a wheelchair and grabbing women's ass. She could care less. She just,
She doesn't care.
She is the daughter of Alex Rowland. She is the daughter of a British Satanist, okay? All right, she's a third cousin to Daddy himself. They're cousins. That's why
actually, second cousin, not third, you're second.
Well, second, excuse me.
Second cousins.
When you crossbred like that, with the genes being so closely connected to each other, you wind up with mentally ill offspring, a.k.a. Junior Frog. Totally mentally ill, totally sick,
A.k.a. Jeb Bush.
And Jeb Bush. And Junior was initiated when he was 11 years old by Daddy, when he pimped out an 11-year-old boy, so Junior Frog could have homosexual sex with him on a beach in Maine. And they were, in Kenny Bucksport.
My Daddy watched me do it.
That's right. And then you got, but I didn't want to get back to the deal with the North Korean thing. That's Julian Assange's website was taken down the other day. And, the Navy put it back up for him, fortunately. Glenn knows about that. Yeah. And what it deals with all the files that were taken out of the CIA by the Marines showing that the whole nuclear deal in North Korea is tied to the Clinton Foundation and tied to the Clintons and the Bushes, okay? All right? And how Osama bin Laden, aka CIA 9/11 patsy Tim Osmond, was on the payroll of the CIA and the Clinton Foundation for years. And there's even a report that Hillary had a revenge affair with bin Laden when her husband was impeached for sexual misconduct. So here's Hildebeest, a lesbian bisexual bitch, having sex with Tim Osmond. And of course, as you remember, who created Obama bin Laden and Tim Osmond originally? Back in the late 1970s was Zig Brzezinski. Zig Brzezinski, who was Jimmy Carter's national security advisor, who helped create the Mujahideen in Afghanistan to begin with, a.k.a. bin Laden. Pardon?
And Brzezinski's daughter is on TV every morning on MSNBC with Joe Scarborough, who Scarborough knew about true colors, and his aide when he was a congressman was killed, folks, was killed over seeing these documents. And boy, did we have repercussions. Tom and I did the story on that. And I might add about, well, go ahead, Tom.
Well, all I can say is this. It's got to a point now where, we're heading toward what I call the eventual conclusion of all this. And there is going to be a reckoning. How that reckoning finally sorts itself out, I don't know clearly. But I can say this, is that we have to pray hard, pray to the Holy Spirit, Pray to Jesus, because this thing is now at what I'm told endgame. Endgame. Endgame means the final liberation of this country and the return to the rule of law, so that the United States once again can become a country based on the Constitution, the rule of law, and the Spirit of God. You have anything to add, Stu?
Yeah, I want to add something. I noticed yesterday on TV. It was actually at Fox News yesterday morning. I turned it off for about 10 or 15 minutes, and they were showing that the President of the United States, Mr. Trump, President Trump, was at his Key West, Florida, Western White, or whatever they call it now. And what did they show? United States Marine folks everywhere surrounding the whole place. That proves the martial law condition. United States Marines, folks, starting the President of the United States. It was all over TV. Start looking at what the fake news is not reporting.
I can report they have 48 hours left. We'll leave it at that. 48 hours left before they are taken off the air completely. MSNBC and CNN ran reruns all yesterday. Now, Fox News, let's be very clear about this. Fox News has done a great job in identifying the Clinton problem. But Fox News cannot be trusted completely by any means as long as Rupert Murdoch, the Nazi Jew stooge of the Bush family, is operating. Am I right or wrong, sir?
You're right. They put up those satellites, China did, and as Otis Johnson said, the NSA, because he was involved in trying to find out what the hell they had aboard when they shot them up, made them. He says, Stu, they're spy satellites. Remember they were spying on the UK, the parliament over there. Those were the spy satellites from Fox News. They also have, reportedly, lasers aboard those satellites. Something similar to the death ray, they call it, that hit the building on 911, folks. It wasn't that one. It was the West Star satellite and Daddy Bush that did 911 from Area 52 S4 for Raytheon Corporation as their operation, and that was the first test of the death ray, 911. The Hoover Dam was built, and it has 6 or 8 generators in it. 2 of them go to the civilian side. The rest go to the secret base called S4. It's where the alien base is. It's our test site for nuclear bombs have been tested out there. Everything. It's a test site for Area 51. It's where all those special toys are made, etc. They used 4 or 5 of those generators, whatever it was, that went to that base. They used that to get the power to shoot that death ray. It was the first test on 911. That's what melted the towers. It wasn't a nuke in the basement, folks. It was the death ray, disintegrated. That metal and concrete. No planes hit the place. John Lear rated every rating there is. Lear jets. His father built the flying saucers. I'm going to replay that program, put it back up. It was from about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He's dead now, but he made 150 saucers with the alien connection, alien technology. In 1952 to 1958 or 9, they completed 150 saucers. Our military has, where Nevada and Utah and Arizona come together. There's a base up there. But John said, no planes hit the World Trade Center. He says, I flew that jet many times. Those same jets. He says, if it had hit with a steel structure, it wouldn't have made the building collapse. The wings would have broke off. The tail section would have left, and it would have been sitting on the ground. You don't see any plane. All you see, no plane parts. All you see is holograms. They're holograms, folks. They hit the Trade Center. Go back to the videos. You see a hole, you see a blast. And a hole, no wing marks whatsoever. Whatsoever. I just thought I'd add that. Where was Daddy Bush on the day of 9/11? He was in the Situation Room with Dick Cheney. And where was Junior Fraud? Down there reading a goat book, a satanic book to a bunch of children as this little fake thing, which then he gets on the airplane and goes to Omaha. Let me tell you something. Omaha, Nebraska is not a secure location. NORAD does not operate out of Omaha, Nebraska. I know, and I'm not going to say where NORAD headquarters is, but it's west of there. Okay?
That's right. And of course, again, back to people got to remember when it comes to Fox News, Murdoch just made a deal with Disney, which is Larry Mizell, which is the Nazi Jew banking, crooked bank connection. So you got Daddy Bush still giving Fox News orders. Believe me. That's why you see people like Sean Hannity do a great job on the Clinton, but he's got amnesia and dementia and psychosis when it comes to Bush. And remember, Murdoch, in the year 2000, actually gave money to Hildebeest to be run for senator and Junior Fraud to run for president against Al Gore at the same time. That's bitch Murdoch. Bitch Murdoch. But I didn't want to say.
And all of Murdoch's money to get Fox News going came from Leonard Millman in Denver, which is now controlled by Larry Mizell. Took over one, the Illuminati 12, the 12 disciples of Satan is what Otis Johnson used to call them. And the money came from all of Bush's narcotics and theft and all the money laundering Leonard Millman was consistently doing. Remember, folks, Leonard Millman took over from Meyer Lansky, the Jewish crime syndicate boss. Him and Lucky Luciano, Millman and Lucky Luciano of Italy. And when Lucky died, Millman got it all. Then when he dies, $100 trillion was transferred over, just handed over to Larry Mizell. He was anointed the next one of the 12 disciples of Satan, the Illuminati. Kills babies in Denver, Colorado. Now he hosts the parties that just went down recently. But they financed Rupert Murdoch. They financed the Cocaine News Network, it was called. It was all proffered up. CNN was proffered up initially with cocaine money, folks. Cocaine money. Daddy Bush's ownership. And Larry Mizell, I want to tell you, you punk, I'm filing charges today against you for cyber terrorism, dick. Cyber terrorism. And if the Attorney General, who was on my website yesterday, U.S. Department of Justice, does not do their fucking job, I'm going to petition the White House. Mizell, you're going down, punk. Folks, look at the evidence. Insurance companies, Great West Life, HSBC, Hong Kong Shanghai Bank Corp, world's largest bank, owned by Great West Life, which was Millman, which was Western Savings. He collapsed Western Savings. The Galleria in Dallas, the Galleria in Houston is stolen S&L money, savings loan money, folks, from that collapse. Anyway,
that's right.
That's Great West Life.
This Punk Sessions. If you're listening, punk, do your job, or the Revolutionary Council will arrest you. Don't think we're kidding, punk. Quit your shit up there on behalf of Bush and Ditch. You're a stooge. We know that. And we'll leave it at that.
You served 19 years in the United States Senate. I never heard you open your mouth about any of these crimes whatsoever. Which means you went along with it, bitch.
Okay, I did get an update, Stu, on Oklahoma City a few minutes ago before we end the program. A former independent black ops contractor, Cody Snowgrass, recently took to the airways to allege he was offered $1 million from the CIA to bomb the Alfred P. Murrah Felder building in Oklahoma City prior to the deadly explosion in the 1990s. He alleged that he was in direct communication with none other than then First Lady, mentally ill lesbian CIA stooge Hillary Clinton, and that he has waited for her to basically be out of politics, allegedly, before he is gone with this. I'll email this to you guys right now. You can make it, and I haven't listened to the tape yet, but it says story is developing. So again, that assassinate, and there was actually an assassination attempt on Mr. Snodgrass just recently. Okay, they tried to kill him in a car accident. Obviously, that's how they do it. But that's how they killed Neil Cooper Moody years ago. You know, I don't know. It's just
Moody Insurance. Moody Insurance, folks. Moody Insurance. Because they want to steal the insurance company.
Well, anyway, I want to thank you very much, Stu and Glenn, for letting us, letting me and get on the air here. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I have to take my heart medication now, but I want to ask everyone out there to keep praying to God, our Father, Jesus Christ, the Son of God. It was just his birthday yesterday. We all celebrated it. To our divine Holy Spirit, that the forces of good and Almighty God sweep this evil from our midst, send them into the fires of hell where they belong. Stu is not feeling well, as you can tell. Please help him. Give him a little bit of a New Year's present, www.stuweb.com. And I'm Tom Hennigan, and I've gone through a lot of stress. I'm going to continue to fight.
Tom needs help. Has been hospitalized, folks, 5 times from the stoner. It knocked me out, split my skull. Didn't crack it, split it. My blood pressure runs 200 over 100 every friggin' day. We're trying to figure out what the problem is.
I can tell you that I need assistance. I'm Tom Hennigan, Heneghan, and I'm at 14806 Delano Street, Delano, apartment 105, Van Nuys, California, 91411. That's Tom Hennigan, Heneghan, 14806 Delano Street, Delano, apartment 105, Van Nuys, California, 91411. And again, I ask God our Father and his Son, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, with the precious blood of Jesus, with the almighty power of our Creator, to now step in, deliver us to victory for a new day for all mankind. I will continue to fight. My dad won a Silver Star in World War II on Normandy Beach. So I speak to all the military out there. I'm a member of the Silver Star Society. What he did was nothing compared to what I'm doing. I should say what he did was 10 times, 100 times more brave. What he did on Normandy Beach and what I'm doing. But I will do my best. So God bless you all. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Stu. And may we have a new
Tom,
soon.
I just want to say this to the audience, if I may. What Tom Hennigan says, folks, there's things that I can't even reveal what this man has told me. And I've confirmed it. I'm going to say sources like Otis Johnson, Super Spook, and others. Tom's only been wrong on occasion. Wrong. Had it somewhat right. 99% of the time he's got it right, folks. We know. And we know these indictments were going to be by the end of the year. There would be arrest warrants.
That's right. And again, I want to say hello again to my favorite, Molly Hancock over there in Hamilton County, Tennessee. I hope you had a nice Christmas. You're 88 years old. You're going to live till you're 128. God's with you at all times. So thank you again.
Now this was the one that Larry Nichols ripped off for a huge amount of money, sucking people dry with his bullshit scams that he's done over the years. Remember, he worked for General John Singlaw, but took over the Mena, Arkansas operation in 1986 when Al Martin caused the Iran-Contra scandal, and Ollie North and General Richard Secord had to step away from it. They brought General John Singlaw. His 727 landed where? In Baja, California, on fire, and he confiscated it. Who was his good buddy? Ted Gunderson. I might add. What was Ted Gunderson doing at the time he was head of the FBI in Los Angeles in 1979? Selling Stinger missiles to Bin Laden. It's right in there, folks. Right in there. It's on my website. Plug in Stinger missiles to Bin Laden. The documents are there. Internal memorandums, United States government.
And that was
Tom, you supplied me with documents. Pardon me?
That was at the hotel. It's right here in California. They were doing all that shit.
Yep. That's right. You gave me the document. I put it up, folks. It's up there. It's got Raymond Lavas in there. It's got the name. Michael Reconnaissance, a neutron bomb. An N-bomb, neutron bomb that they sold. Now this was the FBI. And where was Ted Gunderson? right after Clint Murchison had owned the Dallas Cowboys. It was CIA crossover between the FBI and the CIA that his father was involved. And they had the big party at his house, Clint Murchison Sr.'s house. The day before Kennedy was murdered, they were all there. The day after, they were all there. And where was Ted Gunderson after Clint Murchison dies? He's in charge of his estate. And he's down there sucking his wine cellar. In Dallas, he had a sub-basement wine cellar. Drinking his wine and eating all the steaks from all around the world they had in the freezers until the food ran out. Then he went back to Las Vegas. That was Ted Gunderson, folks.
And where were all the shooters, the assassins of President Kennedy, and the accomplices? Where were they all flown to right after President Kennedy was assassinated? To Canada. Canada again.
To Canada.
Once again.
And Chi Quantera was chased down at the Canadian border by Bill McCoy, who was Defense Intelligence at the time, and they told him, if you arrest me, you and your entire family will be dead in the next 24 hours, Bill. Bill says, I'll back off this little punk. I can come get Chi anytime. Chi Quantera runs the Mexican drug operations with Felix Rodriguez. Okay? All the Cuban connection. The Cuban, the Bay of Pigs. Gibson of the Bay of Pigs that ran the whole operation for the CIA was the one that ordered Kennedy to be murdered. Who were the two boats, the Barber and the Zapata, that invaded Cuba? Zapata Oil Company, Pennzoil subsidiary, Daddy Bush, Jehu Licky, Pennzoil Corp. That was the Bay of Pigs. Where did they practice to shoot the president? On the north end of that lake in Louisiana, Lake Pontchartrain or whatever it's called. That's where they did the shooting. That's where they did it, folks. And that actor's son, the actor that was on Cheers, forgot his name. Maybe Glenn, maybe you remember his name.
Danson? What's his name?
His father, this concussion crap of mine, it's just ridiculous. His father was one of the ones that killed a federal judge Woods of San Antonio. He killed about 300 people for Daddy Bush. He was one of the shooters. His son's an actor. Anyway, he was nailed for killing Judge Woods. The father was.
Right. Okay, well, listen.
He was one of the shooters on Kennedy.
And remember, Ted Cruz's father is pictured with Lee Harvey Oswald. And of course, that's why Ted Cruz was born in Canada, because Ted Cruz's father had to leave the country the day after President Kennedy was assassinated. And of course, we've all known after some time now. And Ted Cruz is still in the U.S. Senate. I don't know why he's not in a federal detention center at this point. But that being said,
he's not even legitimate, folks. A PI, former cop, and his associates dug into the birth certificate of Ted Cruz, who claimed that was his mother's birth certificate. It wasn't. It's up on my site. Go look. Ted Cruz, illegal. He's not even a citizen of the United States of America. He's a friggin' Canadian, and he holds the office of Senate. The son of a bitch should be friggin' tried immediately for treason and sedition against the United States of America.
He's an illegitimate Cuban-Canadian stooge, whatever you want to cut. Anyway. All right. Well,
when you see Ted Cruz, maybe somebody could, well, I won't say anything. I'm not gonna.
All right. Well, once again, it's
Time to clean it up, Tom.
Drain the swamp. www.stewweb.com. And of course, Tom Hennigan, HENEG, HAN, 148060 Lonald Street, DELANO, apartment 105, NICA, 91411. God bless you all. I'm glad we did this update, and we will be back with you as soon as we need to continue to keep you informed. All our American citizens, great patriots out there, what's going on, so you're ready to continue the fight for our liberation and eventual.
And I'm going to make one statement. If they touch President Trump, if they harm him, full blown, folks, full blown, drain the swamp. Get out there with your guns and drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. I want to see body count hanging from trees in Washington, D.C. If they murder your President Trump, which they're trying to do, we go full board and clean and drain the swamp. I want to walk through Washington and count the bodies hanging off trees to identify those that need to be drained yet, those that haven't been drained.
And just
they touch my President Trump, your asses are grass.
Just a reminder, the media Phil, history lesson, what happened to royal court messengers in the French Revolution. We know what they got. They got the guillotine from the French people. That's right.
So don't forget them when you drain the swamp. They touched our president, and he doesn't accomplish what he is doing right now, which is tremendous. If they touch him, folks, it's us. We have to pick it up and go drain it ourselves. If he survives, I believe the swamp's going to be drained soon.
That's why the revolutionary councils have been organized for the preemptive strike that the American people will have to use if necessary. God bless you all. I do have to go now to take my medication. Glenn, thank you again, and God bless you all. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Glenn, for recording this. Bye-bye.
Jump aboard the Bitcoin rocket. John McAfee says Bitcoin is going to $1 million by the end of 2020. Don't get left behind. Get in now, before the stampede, to lock in huge profits. You will kick yourself if you miss out on the biggest wealth transfer in history. We will train anybody on how to buy Bitcoin and store it securely so nobody can steal it. You'll get access to our top secret Bitcoin sources and work one-on-one with our excellent trainers. Every day you delay costs you thousands in the future. Go to crankmoney.com or email glenn@insearch.com, and we'll be working with you very soon. Thank you very much. Jesus wants to heal you. By listening to the Anointed Word of God at JesusHealingNow.com for at least 10 minutes per day, God is promising forgiveness, salvation, miracles, healing, signs and wonders, and the distribution of individual gifting through the works of the Holy Spirit. People are being healed all over the world through the anointed Word of God, and you can be too.